Hey guys, what's up? So I want to go over how to own your training, how to really understand your training and get the most out of your training. So for those that don't know me, my name is Fallon Headings. I'm a physical therapist and a track and field coach. So let's get started. So when I'm writing training, I always think about my athletes' goals. So what is my goal for practice that day? When I write a training program, usually for the week, I have a practice that's for speed. I have a practice that's for technique. I have a practice that's for speed endurance. I have a practice that's for power and acceleration development. I have a recovery day in there. There's a lot of different goals that you can have for your practice. So if you don't understand your goal for practice, I always explain my goals for practice at the beginning of the day, and my athletes kind of know going into that day, is this a speed day? Is this a speed endurance day? What is this day? And you want to work on your goal for practice. So if your goal is technique, you need to really be super focused on improving your technique that day. If your goal for practice is speed endurance, then you really need to make sure that you're hitting those rep times and those rest times. But if it's just speed, then you really want to make sure you're hitting the rep times, but not necessarily, like, the rest times don't matter as much. You want to make sure you're fast. So, and if you don't know the difference between speed and speed endurance, there's other videos that I've done in the past on what the difference is in those workouts. So look at that. Make sure you understand your goal for practice, because that, I think, is a really big and easy way to understand your training more. The next is your goal for that week. A lot of times I talk to my athletes after they compete on Saturday and say, all right, we messed up on this part of your race today, or we messed up on this part of your jump today. Next week, we're going to do all approaches, or next week, we're really going to work on that race strategy for the first 200 meters of your race. And I individually will kind of tell them a goal for their week. So figure out what's your goal. What's one thing that you really want to improve on for your next meet that next Saturday, and hone in on that and make that your focus. If you try and focus on too many things, you're never going to put enough time and energy to one thing and really fix that problem. So focus on one thing for the week. Last week, my one jumper, his runways were atrocious at this one meet. So I said, dude, next week we're doing all runways. I want to go over the basics of runways. We went over the phases of your runway, explained that to him, got him a new runway, told him about it. That week he was practicing that runway. The runway was his main goal for that week. Then you have your goals for your season. And yes, numeric goals are fantastic. So I want to run a 50 point in the 400. I want to jump 40 feet in the triple jump. Whatever your goal is, have those goals and write them down so you can see them every single day. Because I think seeing your goals makes it so much easier for you to be positive going into practice, be positive going into your meets, and shows you why you're working as hard as you are. Because sometimes I get it. I can get very frustrated and say, oh my gosh, practice is just, it looks terrible today. But if it's gonna make me jump 40 feet, guess what? I'm gonna freaking do it. So make sure that you're always, again, thinking about your end goal for the season. But all three of these, I think, are extremely important to really understand your training program better. So I write my programs out on a weekly basis. And like this week coming up is a little different because we have 2 meets in this week, but I have a technique day for my hurdlers. But the sprinters are just doing plyometric and power-based goals that day. Then the next day, my long sprinters have a speed endurance workout, but my short sprinters just have speed stuff that day. Then the meet day, my long sprinters are actually going to have a recovery day, and they're probably not even going to do anything at the meet. But my short sprinters are making that into their really hard speed day. And then we have another pre-meet day and different things like that. So that's kind of how I break my weeks down into training programs. And I always want to explain that to my athletes so they can put the most into their training as well and get the most out of each workout. So if you guys have questions on this, hit me up in the comment section, subscribe to my videos, and share this around to other coaches and athletes. Thanks.